Hi guys, welcome to my channel again. I would like to do another movie review today for you, and I'll be doing a couple more of these just because I have to do it for a class, and it's probably the easiest way of submitting it through a YouTube link. And today we'll be discussing a movie that is actually probably the second time I watched it for this class, or it's the second time I've watched it, and I had to rewatch it again for the class, basically. It's a Steven Spielberg movie, but it's probably not one that you'd think of, and it's actually one of my favorites by him. When one thinks of Spielberg, one thinks of probably like E.T. or Indiana Jones, or Jaws, his classic Jurassic Park, big blockbuster movies, The Schindler's List. But this movie is fairly one of his recent ones. It's not Lincoln. It's Bridge of Spies, which came out in 2015, I believe. Really good movie. The cinematography and everything is very on point. I'm not going to go over the plot detail too much because it's kind of a complicated plot to explain in a short time. But I wanted to say I really enjoyed this film. The film portrays many themes that I found were very deep, and they made you reflect. Lots of what is right, even though you might not agree with the end product or the, how should I say this? In this case, what everyone perceives to be a gesture, and you see it as a individual right. So basically, you standing up for what you believe is right and not being afraid of the consequences of that. That is basically what happens to James Donovan, the character played by Tom Hanks, the great Tom Hanks. Which honestly, Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg at this point are kind of like unanimous in their, they've worked on so many movies together. But one interesting point that I really noticed now, this second view of the movie, and I hadn't noticed it since the movie, for like the first maybe 25 minutes, does not have any music. And I noticed that this time that I watched it, I was like, and the first time you hear the music is in a scene where Mr. Donovan, Tom Hanks, is followed by a CIA officer outside the street while it's raining. And you just kind of hear like the music, the playful music kind of like start. And then it gets slowly like ominous as he's approaching Hanks. I'm sorry. And I found that to be very interesting because the intro certainly could have had a score to it, but I believe Spielberg decided to make it more neutrally emotional, especially at first of the character Rudolph Abel, which is the spy in the movie. You kind of at the beginning, at least me personally, the first time I saw it, I didn't know if he was actually a bad guy or a good guy, because he never seemed alarmed by the CIA. The CIA seemed like they were intruding on his space and his private property, which in the end they kind of were, honestly. But it was, without the music, I felt that it gave you more time to reflect on what was happening. Whereas if they had a score to it during those opening sequences, I feel it would have taken away a bit from the opening sequence and the character development of Rudolph Abel in a way. I'm not sure if that kind of makes sense. But that's one interesting thing that I noted. And yeah, all in all, it's such a great movie. One of my personal favorites from Spielberg. One can instantly kind of tell that it's a Spielberg movie. Lots of the camera shots. The opening scene, by the way, for example, where he's painting himself or he's painting himself using a mirror. He sees himself in the mirror, and then he has the canvas next to him. So you're actually never seeing his face full on. Like the camera is looking at two reflections pretty much. His painting, which is a reflection of him, and the mirror itself, which is a literal reflection of him. And I thought that was really cool. Spielberg, it does that a lot, especially in some Schindler's List movies, scenes with Oscar Schindler. Lots of stuff like that. So one can easily tell that it's a Spielberg film without even looking at the credits. But yes, it's one of my favorite movies, and I highly recommend it. I do not think it's on Netflix, but you can find it anywhere pretty much. I'm not advocating for illegal stuff, but just saying there are ways to still watch it. But thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this movie review, and please stay tuned for more. Thank you.